I hate school. These three words, or at least a variation of them, have probably been uttered by almost every child in America, at least at some point in their life. And this is for good reason. For many students, school can be boring, annoying, or downright hard. However, there is a solution. UDL, or Universal Design Learning, offers a flexible learning experience that best fits the needs of all students. And all schools should adopt UDL to provide a better learning experience for all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Cohen Nelson, and today I'm going to show you just why they should through what UDL is, what its benefits are, and how to best implement it. First off, what is UDL? Well, according to Keisha S. Elder, UDL can be defined by a teaching framework designed to provide a flexible learning experience for diverse students. Furthermore, according to Spencer J. Saland and Catherine R. Whitaker in A Blueprint for Learning Success, UDL is compared to universal design in architecture, which is an idea that states that all buildings, products, and services should be accessible to all. And a good example of this is the ramp. A ramp was originally made to help disabled people get onto a sidewalk. However, nowadays, if you're getting on a sidewalk and you have a stroller, you're on a bicycle, or you're delivering a package, you're also probably going to use that ramp. UDL follows that same basis. It was originally made to help disabled people learn better. However, nowadays, after research, we found that it plays off the strengths of all students and gives all students a better learning experience. According to CAST, which is a nonprofit organization that expands the horizons of UDL through research, UDL can be split up in a set of guidelines, both horizontally and vertically. Horizontally, UDL can be split into three guidelines based off the three principles of UDL. These principles are: provide multiple means of engagement, or the why you need to learn something; provide multiple means of representation, or the what you're learning; and to provide multiple means of action and expression, or how you demonstrate what you know. Vertically, they're split up by three terms, which are access, build, and internalize. The access row is involved with recruiting interest and providing multiple means of perception and physical action. The build row focuses on how students compound that information within themselves through sustaining effort, providing language and symbols, and providing multiple means of expression. And the internalize row focuses on how students use that to better themselves through self-regulation, comprehension, and executive function. Now, all of these guidelines have three common goals. And these are to build expert learners who are in their own unique way all purposeful and motivated, resourceful and knowledgeable, and strategic and goal-directed. So now that you know what UDL is, why should it be implemented? And first off, does it even work? It sounds like a great idea, but is it just a pipe dream? Well, according to Margaret E. King Sears et al., who did an exploratory study with Hamel Institute, where two classes of students, one that used UDL and one that did not, were examined over a 4-week period and then tested to see what they know. Though in both classes, the students with learning disabilities performed worse than the ones without, at the end of the 4-week period, the class that used UDL performed significantly better than the one that did not. In addition, according to Peggy Cohn et al., who did a study with UDO, which is a UDL-based online learning platform that helps with literacy, she says the potential of designing UDL environments for students with IDD warrants closer scrutiny, as this and a previous study indicate clear advantages for these students. As research branches out with this population and the expectations are raised, UDL should remain in the forefront of informing the design and implementations of instructional material and practices to ensure that motivation and learning are maximized. UDL also offers many benefits that are not just in the classroom. First off, according to Therese E. Aceves and Jennifer Manlemos from Language Magazine, UDL provides many benefits to overcoming language barriers with English learning students, so they can learn and represent themselves in different ways. In addition, according to the Delaware Department of Education, UDL offers 3 other benefits. The first is that it saves time. When you implement UDL and provide multiple accommodations from the get-go, a teacher does not have to spend as much one-on-one time helping a student and can focus on the entire class. It also saves cost. Just like how installing an automatic door or a ramp before a building is made is a lot cheaper than installing afterwards, by implementing UDL from the get-go, a classroom can save a lot of money than they would adjusting a course schedule after it's already been made. And lastly, according to the Delaware Department of Education, it helps with legal compliance. UDL closely follows the Americans with Disabilities Act and provides an extra area of legal compliance. Lastly, how do you implement it? Well, one of the good things about UDL is that the guidelines aren't concrete rules. They're more suggestions to help you perform. And because of that, you have a lot more flexibility. But where do you start? Well, in A Blueprint for Success by Spencer J. Salen and Catherine R. Whitaker, UDL can be built by a 7-step blueprint. The first is to understand students' learning differences. When an architect designs a building, they're first going to figure out who's going to be using this building and build accordingly. So should an educator who's planning to use UDL. You need to know the differences in your students so you know what to expect. Secondly, you determine the purpose of your course or building. Another thing an architect does before they start building is they need to know exactly what this building is for. So should a teacher, when they're designing it off of UDL, have clear goals and guidelines for their school year, especially if a student has an individual education plan or an IEP or a 504 plan that gives them specifications for their learning. A teacher who's designing UDL should take into account these and their specific learning goals to help them throughout the year. Third is to examine the aspects of their learning environment. Now, this is very important. You need to know what the benefits of your classroom are, or what the negatives could be. Are there any distractions? Is the lighting right? Do you need a PowerPoint projector? What do you need in your classroom? Fourth is to identify the barriers with their students. Taking into account the past 3 steps, a teacher must then identify the precise barriers that they believe they're going to face throughout the school year. After this, they're going to move to step 5 and select specific UDL solutions to best address these barriers. Now, this is important. Like I said, UDL is very flexible, and when you have a classroom, you want to make sure you select the best practices for your class. 6 is to ensure that these UDL principles are well implemented. When an architect is building a building with universal design, they don't just slap an automatic door on there or say, throw in a ramp. No, they analyze the exact parameters of their building and put that ramp at the exact incline it needs to be, or make the door exactly how tall or wide it needs to be. So should an educator using UDL. You need to make sure that your solutions are best implemented for your specific class. And lastly, an educator will evaluate their solutions. At the end of a quarter, half of the school year, a semester, or even the entire year, you're going to analyze what you did and say, did this actually work? If it didn't, it's something you need to change and something you need to be open to changing if you're approaching UDL. And if it did, hey, it worked out well. In conclusion, UDL provides a flexible learning experience for all students that plays off their strengths. And all schools should adopt UDL to provide a better learning environment for all students. Once again, my name is Cohen Nelson, and I showed you what UDL was, what its benefits were, and how to best implement it. Good afternoon, good evening, and goodbye.